Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody that is listening. Thank you for tuning in to Podcast for Success. This is episode 1. Fight for It is the title today for the very first episode ever. Fight for It. So who am I? I am Rodric King, songwriter, professional singer, author, motivational speaker, commercial real estate investor, business owner, long list, many hats. So what is this podcast about? Success, motivation, reaching higher in life, and getting what you deserve. So I've been exposed to motivational content for over 15 years, and I've adopted and applied principles that have transformed my life, and I just plan to share my knowledge and experiences. I just want to keep you optimistic and lifted. So who is this for? Easy answer. Anyone who desires positive information and or vibrations. A not so easy answer for those who hate their jobs and for those entrepreneurs that want to keep pushing. So before I start, I mentioned that I am an author. I wrote a book. My first book is titled The Life That Brightens the Light. So it's not yet published at the time of this specific episode, but it's coming soon. I have a new publisher. I'm excited about it. It's a new milestone for me in life, because if you'd have told me 12 years ago, one day, Rodric King, you're going to be an author, I'd have been like, look, dude, I'm not even that good at the English language, let alone having the sense to come up with something to write about. I wouldn't even know where to start. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you feel the same way. A lot of people out there that feels like they don't have nothing to offer the world, but in reality, your story is your product. And that's exactly what my book is about. My book is telling my story. It's my journey on how I became a professional singer. And it's an incredible story. I can honestly say that I went into my approach of becoming a professional singer knowing that I would write about my story. So I accepted some things that I normally wouldn't. Let's say, for an example, if I knew I was going to have to sleep on the street, I did it with a little bit more confidence, because I knew that one day I'm going to be putting my story into some type of format, whether a book, whether just being a motivational speaker, whatever the case may be. I knew I would tell the story. So it kind of helped the edge of dealing with being out there on the street. But to make a long story short, wrote the story about me becoming a professional singer and how I went about that, because I was tired of the rat race. I'm pretty sure a lot of you that are listening to this, you're just tired of the everyday just going to work and keeping the same cycle and doing something you don't like, dealing with people you don't like, talking to people you don't like, when you prefer to be doing something that you want to do. I know me personally, myself, I always wanted to fly helicopters. Like, I just wanted to be around it. Like, I thought that you had to be this super smart scientist type enthusiast, or somebody that just had to be super smart. Not saying that pilots are dumb, but it just felt like the information was like trying to figure out how to go to Mars or something, right? Like you had to build a spaceship or something, and it's the farthest thing from it, and once I started learning that I'm capable of doing that, like I have what it takes, I just have to build up to it. I have to start somewhere and place that one perfect brick. Like Will Smith said it best. He was like, here's my thing. If I can take one brick, right? If I can take one brick and just lay that one brick perfectly, right? And it starts there, just laying that. If I can lay this one brick perfectly, and then I'll grab another brick and I'll set it down, and I'll lay that brick, taking my time, not in a rush or anything. Just lay that brick as perfectly as I possibly can. If I stay consistent with this long enough, I'll eventually have a wall, right? And then eventually a building, right? That's the type of approach success is. You're not just gonna just run at success and get it right the first time. You have to build like this foundation. It's never quick. You have to be comfortable with the process. So yeah, that's basically what I took from him. It's not gonna come overnight, and took a little time, but eventually you'll get it. You just gotta get tired of being tired, know what you want, and go get it. And that's why I started looking into the piloting. You know, I thought once that I lost my ability to be accepted into the military with charges, I thought, wow, my opportunity of being a pilot is done. And when that mentality changed, the opportunity resurfaced. And everyone has that opportunity. You can be things that you never imagined that you could be, but you just have to change the information that you're exposed to. You just need better information. Trust me. And when your mind changes, you make different decisions. You investigate, you research, you get more information. But think about it. If you don't think that you can climb the wall, you're not even going to attempt climbing the wall. So your mindset in your what you believe, it really determines on how far you can potentially go. So basically the books gets into detail and the decisions that I make to become a professional singer. And today I am a professional singer. I work for one of the largest entertainment companies in the state of Florida. And the name of the band is Blonde Ambition Band. And also I'm one of the lead singers of Latin Ambition Band, which is under the same entertainment company. But yeah, so I've been doing that for like 5.5 years now, and I wrote a book about it. And a lot of the motivational content that you'll find that I've been exposed to, I show how I applied those principles while I was trying to become a professional singer. It's a very good book, motivational. You'll find a lot of encouragement in it. And for the process that I took in order to have the perfect plan strategized or laid out, I needed a perfect plan. And I put all of the details on how you can construct the perfect plan for yourself inside the book. So when is this book going to be published? Right now, when I was self-publishing, I had a timeline on when that book will be published. But being that a publisher picked up my book and they're doing the formatting, marketing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, they're going to give me a date. So being that it's Christmas time, I'm waiting for this Christmas holidays to roll over, and then I'm going to be more aggressive about getting a timeline from them when that book can be released. However, follow me on social media, Rodric King. You type Rodric King into Instagram, you type Rodric King into Facebook, YouTube, I will come up. I post updates everywhere. If you want to visit my website, rodricking.com, I guarantee you it will not be hard to find out when this book is released because I'm posting it everywhere. All right. So what's the next question? So let's talk about success. Success. That's why we're here. This whole podcast is built around success. And the title of this episode is called Fight For It. So first thing you got to know, you define success. No one can define success for you. You have to do it. Because success is based on what you think, what you feel. For an example, if I see a guy that's changing the lining for the trash cans at a bus stop and that's his job, I may not look at that as successful. You may not look at that as successful, but he may feel he's successful from where he's come from in his life, where for whatever reason he think he's successful. It's his prerogative, you know. It's what he thinks success is. And you have to define success for yourself. If you don't think that you're successful at whatever you define success as for your life, ultimately, not just where you are in your chapter, but ultimately, do you really have success? What is success? Have you defined it? Have you sat down and prioritized what is important to you and what you would claim as success? That's important. You got to know. You got to know where the finish line is. You have to know where you are and you have to know where you're going. And that's another thing that I want to mention. I'm glad we're on that. So are you getting from life what you think you deserve? That's going to be the next podcast. The next podcast that I'm going to release, I'm going to use the economic system in America to describe why you are in the life you're in right now. And it's your fault. Whether it's good or bad, you are where you are in society based on your decisions. However, the systematic structure, which I'm going to break down in the very next podcast, the systematic structure that, I just hit the microphone. The systematic structure that we have here in America is the reason you have what you have. And I'm going to break all of that. I'm telling you, it was like a light came on when I done the research to figure out, because I want to learn as much as I can. And most of the time, you have to take a step back and you have to see the big picture. Sometimes we're so close, we can't really see the big picture because you're too close. But when you take a step back and you see the big picture, which is what the next podcast is going to paint, I really want you all to understand why homeless people are homeless, why rich people are rich, why the middle class is middle class, why anything you have or don't have in your life is your fault. Now, don't get me wrong. Not all circumstances, not all unforeseen circumstances is your fault. Some things are totally out of your control. But however, there's some things, some decisions that you've made that led you to the reality that you have today. There's some decisions that you made that where you could have avoided certain pitfalls, some roads, some obstacles that you could have avoided. Like we create 95% of the decisions we make create our reality. Your reality is made up of your decisions. It's manifested decisions. It's manifested thoughts. This is where your thought process has led to in your reality. So I want to use the economic system, and I'm not a pro, I'm not advanced when it comes to breaking down economics, but I guarantee you, when I do the best that I can to break down the system, and I'm going to do the best that I can to make sure that you understand where I'm coming from. But when you understand the economic system, the structure of the country, you'll see why you're where you are today. You'll see why a homeless person is where he is today. You'll see why things are the way they are here in America. And you have to understand the system. It's kind of like a basketball player or a football player. There will be no Super Bowl champions if they didn't understand the rules of the game, because they will violate or encroach the rules too much in order to be considered good, because they wouldn't be able to get a good play because they're getting too many penalties, right? So you got to learn the game. You got to learn the system. And once you learn how things operate and how they work, you can stay well within the guideline, within the regulation in order to score, right? And that's basically what I'm trying to break down in the very next episode. That's going to be episode 2. I haven't given it a title yet, but obviously that'll come. So when I break this down, again, the light will be shed on this topic and it should give you great insight. I'm serious. When my eyes were open, they were literally open. So the title of this the title of this episode is Fight for What You Want and Enjoy the Journey. Fight for what you want and enjoy the journey. What does that mean? If you're not getting the things that you desire, or if you're not even going into the direction of the things that you want, for one, you need to start fighting for what you want. Because I know the excuses. Oh, well, how am I going to keep food on the table? How am I going to pay bills if I quit bills for a business that's not profitable? How am I going to invest if I don't have the money to invest? How am I going to do this? You got to fight for it. For one, before you even start transitioning into things that you can do to put your life on a different path, you have to investigate. You have to research. You have to become smarter. You don't have to be smart, but you can become smarter. That means smarter means no matter where you are, you can be much more smarter than you were yesterday. And you can be dumb. Or you can be less dumber than you were. You can be less dumber today than you were yesterday. The point is progression, grow, develop. But you got to fight for what you want. This is your life. You're the author. And we're putting spirituality to the side. You have to fight for what you want. What do you want out of life? Is it important? Really? If it's important, fight for it. And here's something a wise man told me. Don't wait until you cross the finish line to start living. So just because I'm on a journey of creating everything that I want out of life, everything that I think I deserve, because I'm creating it, because I'm working on it, because I'm building it, doesn't mean life is not happening right now. So I can't excuse the moments that I'm creating right now. I can't say I ain't got time for friends right now because I'm creating something. I'm building something. No, you still got to be absorbed. You still got to live a little bit. You still got to find breaks. Don't take too many breaks to have you moving backwards, because you still want to be progressive. You still want to progress through life. However, Don't allow these moments to be overlooked because you haven't crossed the finish line yet. Oh, until I make my first million, I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to do that. Even though I work really, really hard, I find great ways to reward myself. So I may be grinding really hard and then blow $100 on something that you might think is stupid. Like, why would you spend $100 on that? That makes no sense whatsoever. Because I'm absorbed in life, just because I'm trying to create something, I don't want to not live. I want to enjoy the journey. So fight for what you want, but enjoy the journey. Don't wait till you cross the finish line to think that's where life starts. Life has already begun. Enjoy the journey. Make it the best experience possible. And surround yourself around the right people, because sometimes you can keep the wrong company and the wrong company can keep you down. Find people that connects with what you're working on and what you're building towards. Sometimes you're going to have to cut people loose in order to get where you need to go, and then come back and get them later if possible. Like, even perfect example, if I have people that I grew up with or friends that I haven't seen in years, I don't make a thing to reconnect, because they could have become anybody over all of that time that we've been separate. So before you start diving back into people's lives as well, you got to be alert or be conscious of who could have they possibly become. Do your research, do your investigation, because these things matter. Tell that to my kids all the time. Like, do you know, and this is what I tell my children, do you know that you can't only be put in jail for your decisions? You can be around or amongst the wrong group and be drugged into a circumstance that you didn't even elect. You just are guilty by association. So I tell it to my kids. So here's another thing. Never stop learning. I don't care where you are, who you are. Never stop learning. Definitely if you're working on success, because you're never going to know it all. Let me repeat that. You're never going to know it all. Let me say it again. You are never going to know it all. You could spend your entire life on one topic. You're not going to know it all. Plus, what happens when things evolve? When things start to change with time? The evolution process. Are you still going to know it all? You'll be learning as you go, because you're never going to know it all. So with that said, do yourself a favor. Never stop learning. Keep as much traction on your development process as you possibly can, because you need to acquire knowledge, the right information. It's important. And you don't always have to pay for it. Sometimes you can surround yourself with the right people. You can use YouTube. You can use podcasts such as this. But you need to be exposed to good information. Good information helps leads to great decisions. Not always, but majority. Because think about it. And I know this equation, or I know this statistic because I just wrote a book on it. You make by average 63,000 decisions a day. In 10 years, that's 124 million decisions. If you're exposed to good information, a larger percentage or majority of those decisions can be healthier for your reality. Therefore, you'll have a better reality just by making better decisions, because you're exposed to better information. Woo! I just told you a mouthful right there. Let me rephrase that. No, not rephrase. Let me repeat it. You make, by average, 63,000 decisions in a day. In over 10 years' time, from day one, 10 years later, that's 124 million decisions that you've made. So in the past 10 years, you have made 124 million decisions. Why would your reality not reflect your mindset and the decisions you make? So expose yourself to healthier information. Read books. Every self-made millionaire has a library, a personal library, with their books that they bought that they've read. Every millionaire, every self-made millionaire. So if you're expecting to become wealthy or successful, if you don't have a library, a personal library, you're already wrong. You're already retracting the success. So you got to get to a library. Start reading, exposing yourself to good knowledge. Ask people who you look up to. What do you read? What's your favorite book? What you working on? What's your focus been lately? That's what, and this is another reason why you connect with good people. They're already on top of these things. They already have them a vision board. They already keep their library full. They're already taking recommendations of new books. They're even writing them too. Hint, hint. So, That's another thing. That was just never stop learning. Next is wasting time. Whew. You don't know how much time you get in this lifetime. How would you even form your lips to say, I'm just killing time because I'm waiting for my wife to get off work. I'm just killing a little time because the day is my day off, and I'm probably going to swing by the gym later on today, but it's too early right now because they're closed. So I'm just killing a little time. I wasted a little time today just walking through the mall, breezing. Don't kill time. Matter of fact, you can't kill time. Do you know that? Time kills you. Time is killing you. You know what's funny about life? Your life is directly associated with your time. You can't get it back. Every second you spend, you waste, it's gone. You can't get it back. Your greatest asset is your time. So if you're wasting time, you're killing yourself, literally. Think about that. How can you care about success, wealth, being successful if you're not managing your time properly? This wasting time, killing time should not even be in your vocabulary. Technically, you're killing yourself. Time is important, right? We know this now, right? So activities that kill you. So now that we know that time is important, managing that time is kind of like saving your life or protecting your life, preserving it to some form because they're directly associated, right? So activities that kill you because you're giving it time and it's not doing anything for you. Or you're just investing too much time into it because there's a balance. Yeah, you do everything in moderation. Just find a balance, Sometimes things that are not good for you, it really isn't good for you. But if you do it in moderation, it can be healthier than if you didn't do it in moderation. Balance. Find the balance. Don't let it kill you. You know what I mean? Don't allow activities to kill you because you're putting so much time into it. Remember, time is directly associated with your life. So that means if you're giving your time to activities that are taking time from you, like watching television, I cannot watch television until I pass a certain net worth. It's just me. I don't want to waste time. I could be learning something. Like, think about it. Let's say my favorite television show is Empire. Not shooting any shots at the show Empire. However, let's say I watch 3 seasons of the Empire. It takes a month for me to get through all 3 seasons. With the amount of time that would have accrued for me to watch 3 seasons, what could I have learned with those hours? If my excuse to someone is, well, you want to be a business owner, you want to make $1 million, why haven't you started? I don't know how to get started. Okay, so you invested. Let's do some quick math really quick. Matter of fact, let me do it right here. No, I don't want to do it on the laptop. I'm going to pull up some quick math real quick. I want to see this. So there's, by average, 30 days in a month, 24 hours a day. Let's clear this. 24 hours in a day, right? Times 30 days by average. That's 720 hours. 720 hours. So that means if you do not know how to start something, if you don't know where to start, if you know, oh yeah, I want to start my own movie company. I want to start my own record label. I want to invest in real estate. I want to be a pilot, but I don't know how. I don't know where to start. Oh, whatever your objection is, and you invest time into a show, however much time you invest into that, that's the amount of time you could have invested to something that you didn't know that could have put you in a position where you see where I'm going with this, right? So don't let activities kill you. Don't do that. Even if it does, be in control, moderation, balance. Find a balance between the two. It's kind of like the best way to give balance is, man, I keep hitting the mic. The best way to give you an example of balance, let's say there's some people that don't have kids, but for those that have kids can understand this analogy. You can't be too nice and you can't be too mean. You have to be kind of mean to make sure you keep the respect, but you got to be nice because you actually love your kids. But there's a fine balance. And mean I can find a better word for mean, but just for the sake of the example, just go with it. So if you meet right in the middle, have the perfect balance, you're like this parent that still has respect. You get respect from your children, but they still love you. You see what I'm saying? It's not like you go, as soon as your kids screw up, you don't go grab a hammer and hit them across the head. And when they wake up 2 days later, be like, next time I tell you to move. Wow, that's extreme, right? But at the same time, when your child do something, you don't do absolutely nothing. And no shots at parents that don't do absolutely nothing. That's your business. You define success. However, balance, finding the balance, okay? Get control of those things. So, you define success. We talked today about fighting for it. Fight for what you want. You control the journey and enjoy the journey as you go through it. So the next episode will be out hopefully in the next 7 days, maybe sooner. I don't know. It depends on what I have going on. Obviously, I wear multiple hats, and I have a whole nother YouTube channel with like 20,000 subscribers that I need to attend to. But I'm telling you, I'm going to get out the next episode. And in the next episode, we are going to discuss, I'm going to break down the economic system in America to describe why you are where you are in life right now. And it's your fault, whether you like where you are right now or not. And when I break this down, the light will come on like it did for me. You'll see why homeless people are homeless, why successful people are successful, etc. Because there's a game that's happening. And I want you to win, but you got to know the rules. You got to know the system. You got to know how to stay within the regulation and how to use the benefits of the system versus staying on the disadvantaged side of the system. Okay, so that's the next episode. So I want to thank you so much for listening to Podcast for Success by Rodric King. This episode was titled Fight For It. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, you can find me on social media. Just type in Rodric King, RODRICKING, on any social media platform. That's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, what it was. You can even type it into Google. I'm going to come up. I'm the Unchained Melody guy. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day. See ya.